Hello there.
What's going on? Welcome back to the channel today, guys, and another episode of Flicks and Bricks, and we continue our journey with the Harry Potter series with the Half-Blood Prince. And today we'll be building the astronomy tower. So I guess it's fitting for a film like the Half-Blood Prince, since a pretty substantial and big scene or big part of the film takes place, especially at the end, takes place in the astronomy tower. So I guess it's a fitting scene, and some of the characters within this set, actually all of the characters in this set, are within the Half-Blood Prince. So I guess it's fitting for the film, and fitting for the build, and fitting for the review. So hope you enjoy the build today, guys. So I'm just gonna give you my quick thoughts on the Half-Blood Prince, where it ranks sort of in the Harry Potter series for me, and then obviously my final ranking at the end. So let's get right into it. Well, Half-Blood Prince starts with Harry Potter's second last year at school, when obviously we find out that it ends up being his last. And we know this because of the events that take place at the beginning of the next film, but I won't get too much into that at the moment. But especially, I'm going to start with what I like about Half-Blood Prince. I think David Yates does a fantastic job at capturing this sort of dark and gritty turn of the wizarding world, and especially the color palette in this film. Especially, it's very grim, dark, lots of grays. It's very dull looking, and although a lot of people may think, oh, this is not what I'm accustomed to with Hogwarts. Hogwarts is usually lifelike and lively and colorful and energetic and youthful exuberance, like as we see in the first one to two and third film. Even though sometimes they have their dark moments, we always still find the sort of sense of euphoria throughout Hogwarts. And in this film, I think David Yates does a fantastic job at sucking the life out of all that euphoric moments or any sort of happiness in Hogwarts. And I think that's a testament to the Half-Blood Prince, because we are transitioning down this dark path within the Wizarding world. And I think, yeah, David Yates does a fantastic job at capturing that and showcasing that the Death Eaters are prominent, especially with the attack on the Burrow at the start, with Bellatrix sort of mimicking that she killed Sirius Black, and Harry sort of going and descending into rage. And yeah, we straight away know that Voldemort's followers are not a force to be reckoned with. Straight away destroying the Weasleys, the Burrows, and I always feel sorry for Miss Weasley because he's such an innocent soul. But again, what I like with the Half-Blood Prince is, although the film is obviously centered, the whole series centered around Harry Potter, Half-Blood Prince is Draco Malfoy's film. I mean, we spend a lot of time with Draco Malfoy. I mean, one of the opening scenes in the film is obviously with Draco Malfoy, his mother, Bellatrix, and Professor Snape doing the unbreakable vow. And that's when you know that the film is going to be centered a lot around Malfoy. And even within the Hogwarts scenes, there's a lot centered around Malfoy. I mean, he curses the girl, I forgot her name, but he curses the girl with the necklace, and we have the scene of him crying in the bathroom, and then Harry obviously Harry obviously confronting Malfoy. But there's a lot centering around Malfoy, and I found that's a great testament towards him, because we always knew Malfoy to be this bully, but this film adds more depth to his character and sort of gives sort of an insight to his upbringing. And you feel sorry for the guy, because he's sort of brought up into this life and he can't do much about it. And I guess his character and why he acts the way he is because of his upbringing. I mean, both his parents are Death Eaters. His father's a Death Eater. His father's high in the Ministry of Magic, and his father uses his power and his name obviously within the Ministry. And we see this throughout scenes throughout the series, that he uses his power to inflict influence on others. So yeah, and that's what I love. I love that this film is also a Malfoy film. And then the key main plot to this film is obviously Professor Dumbledore is trying to get a former Hogwarts teacher, Professor Slughorn, to teach at the school, and there's only one reason for that. And the reason he wants Professor Slughorn to teach at Hogwarts is because he wants Harry to get close with him, and he even tells Harry this. And the only reason he wants Harry to get close to Slughorn is because Slughorn has a precious memory that he has altered that could unlock the key to everything. And it does unlock the key to everything, because it provides useful information, as we see later throughout the film, about what Horcruxes are and what Voldemort has done with his soul, splitting the soul into 7 pieces. And yeah, this forms precedent. This sets a precedent throughout for this film, and obviously the following 2 films to come, about what Harry Potter has to do and what he must do to defeat Voldemort. And there's a key component of this film that follows around Harry getting close with Slughorn, and I think it's a fantastic dynamic between he and Slughorn, where you build this sort of teacher-student bond, and then he sort of not sort of backstabs him, but when Slughorn finds out that Dumbledore put him up to this, and you see that he sort of loses that trust in Harry, even though he's his best student. And we find out that the only reason Harry Potter is doing well, or sort of, we know he's a talented student, but he has access to the book of the Half-Blood Prince, which gives you sort of all these cheat codes to classes, sort of life hacks at Hogwarts, where sort of altercations with each, I know in the potions class, where it's like, you have to squish the bead or like some bean instead of cutting it half, and it just gives him those little insights, and he learns some new spells as well. I mean, he uses Sectum Sempra on Malfoy, even though he does not know the effects of it, and we all know that has disastrous ramifications as Malfoy completely gets cut up to pieces and starts bleeding on the floor. And I think that's a really emotional and impactful scene as well. The music is fantastic in that scene as well. And then even though Malfoy is just laying there, it's just like, holy damn, like a student at Hogwarts is just about to die, and then obviously Snape saves him. But the whole film builds up to this key component at the end, obviously, which is Dumbledore's death. And I think the Half-Blood Prince does it fantastic. Like, I don't have any issues with it, but from what I've heard, I'm not up to the book yet with Half-Blood Prince. From what I've heard is that the book the movie leaves out a lot of stuff from the book, and from what I've heard, that the film leaves out a scene where Voldemort and Dumbledore sit at a table and discuss, and I'm like, that would be fantastic in the film. And leading on to my negatives with the Half-Blood Prince, I think it spends a bit too much time on the teenage romance. I mean, with Ron and Lavender Brown. I mean, it's good to see Ron getting the limelight in this film as well. I mean, especially with goalkeeping and Quidditch, it's fantastic to see Ron sort of sometimes get the spotlight for once. I mean, it's great seeing that, and it's sort of a bit of foreshadowing as well from the first film, where he sees himself in the mirror as, I think, Quidditch captain or holding the house cup. I can't remember, and he finally does that in this film, and it's great to see, as I said before, Ron in the limelight a bit. But sorry, I'm just trying to do this off by heart as it's more authentic, but I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Yeah, I think the romance, although it's foreshadowed at the start of the film a bit with the love potions in Fred and George's store in Diagon Alley, that's sort of the only scene where you find a bit of happiness in this film. Fred and George are always, they're always exciting to watch. They're always happy. They're always joyful. And I think even in Diagon Alley, you see it's all like, it's all dark. There's no light towards it at all. But you see this one store, it's just all lit up, and it just shows that their characters are always like, we don't care what's happening around us. We want to have fun, and it's a testament to their store as well. And yeah, there's a bit of foreshadowing with the love potions as well. And then obviously Lavender Brown puts a love potion on Ron, and I think it just sort of drags on a bit to too many scenes where she's always like, my 1-1 and all that stuff. But I think you could have taken a couple of minutes out from the Lavender Brown Ron, or any romance at all, and then put it towards a scene of giving Voldemort more of a backstory, because he's not in this film at all. He's hardly in this film. I mean, he's mentioned. I can't remember. I don't think there's even a scene with him in it, or like facial wise, or like. So I think obviously he's there as flashbacks and as a young Tom Riddle, but I think it would have been fantastic to give more of an insight into Voldemort's past as well. We get that one scene, obviously, with a young Dumbledore in sort of, I think it's the orphanage with Tom Riddle, and then that's a great scene as well. We see that this kid is sort of not to be messed with. He's already twisted in his head. I think that scene, especially with Dumbledore and Voldemort, would have been cool to see, and would have been a fantastic interaction, as we don't see them really talk much to each other. I know we get the interaction with the last film, The Order of the Phoenix, but we don't get much of that in this film at all. And that would have been a fantastic scene, just them at the dinner table, sort of like a Last Supper sort of talk. But that would have been fantastic to see. But I think I give props to the Half-Blood Prince as well. Definitely I love when Harry and Dumbledore go on this sort of adventure or quest to the caves to find a Horcrux, and that's why Dumbledore's been missing a lot, or sort of been away on term. He's been searching for these Horcruxes, and I love how it shows that we all know Dumbledore to be this all-powerful being, but then even at this point, he stoops to his lowest of lows when he's just like, Harry, I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want to drink the cup, but he must, and that's a fantastic scene showing us like his Dumbledore's vulnerability and how hard these Horcruxes are going to be to sort of get and destroy if Dumbledore can succumb, like if Dumbledore can be taken down by only getting one and needing the help of Harry to sort of get out of that. What's it going to be like for Harry, Ron, and Hermione in the following films, or sort of what's going to happen when they try and get their Horcruxes on their own? So I think it does a fantastic job at setting just the how sort of how difficult the task ahead is going to be. But other than that, I think the Half-Blood Prince is a fantastic addition to the Harry Potter franchise. I love the dark, gritty, dull look of it. I guess the only setback I have with the Half-Blood Prince is that the romance, and from what I've heard, what's in the book, especially the past of Tom Riddle and more in-depth scenes of sort of giving more depth to Voldemort and his past, I would have loved to seen that in the film. Just take away from the romance. Obviously, we can't put everything in, but it would have been good to take away a few minutes from the romance and then insert those stuff with Voldemort and especially the Dumbledore scene. And I know in the book the Dumbledore's death is done a bit different, where Harry Potter is under the invisibility cloak and Dumbledore has him under a spell. Yes, I've spoiled that for myself, but oh well. Dumbledore has him under a spell where he cannot move, and that sort of like gives us a reason as to why Harry could have done nothing. I mean, in the film, he could have sort of interrupted and had an outspurt and then maybe caused the Death Eaters to go into, I don't know, rage, or sort of just like, I don't know, discombobulate each other. I don't know. I don't know, just go into a frenzy sort of and sort of cause havoc, and then maybe would have prevented it. But I guess the book did a better job at that. But that's just one little nitpick, I guess, in the film. But Half-Blood Prince is another fantastic addition into the Harry Potter series. I mean, there's not a film in this series that I can say I really hate or dislike. I mean, this film is probably one of my sort of least favorites. I mean, it's a bit of a slow burner to watch. There's not much action. It's more, again, as I like the Order of the Phoenix, more character focused and character centric. I mean, there's a few action sequences as we get with Harry and Dumbledore in the cave, but it's more character centric, as I said, especially with Slughorn, Harry, and then Malfoy as well. His dynamic in the film and what he has to do and what he's burdened with. So, but still, there's complete enjoyment in the film. I mean, it does a fantastic job, as I said before, where the Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix are transitioning into this sort of dark ministry world of the magical world, and then obviously this film completely in its color palette, as I said before, it's all dark. There's a lot of grays. It's very dull, and it does a fantastic job at showcasing that there's the happiness in the magical world is being drained out, and that's because of Voldemort and his Death Eaters. But yeah, there's not much more to say. I think I've blurred on for too much. That's been Flicks and Bricks episode 8, I think now, guys. Yeah, 8. Hope you enjoyed the Lego build as well. But yeah, if I was to give the Half-Blood Prince a ranking, it's see, I'll enjoy all the Harry Potter films, but it's sort of one of my least favorites. But I would still give the Half-Blood Prince the rank of Jedi Knight. Yep, it's not quite there Jedi Master yet, but high end of Jedi Knight, I reckon. But yeah, it's been your boy Ellie Moses. Hope you enjoyed the review. Sorry if I blurred on too much. I try and do these reviews off by heart, as I feel it's like more authentic. And sorry if you hear the birds in the background. I'll try and fix the audio of that. But yeah, it's been your boy Ellie Moses. As always, take care and peace.